welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the driveway. All right, so we're back working on the old second gen here. Today we're going to install an EGT gauge on the truck. So basically I'm going to show you the step-by-step on just how to drill and tap the manifold, as well as do the full install on the gauges. I run Glowshift because essentially that they are a really good price, and also I've ran them in this truck for 3 years, and I've just added to the collection as I've went on down the line, and I really haven't had a problem with them. Some guys you'll see on forums will bash them all the day, but yet they're not a bad gauge. They work, they're functional. I think it's fine, but you know, it's, again, that's up to you guys. All right, so before we get started with the installation of the EGT gauge, you have to pretty much look at your manifold. All right, so there's multiple spots you can put it. A lot of guys will put it right in the middle there, right up front here. I've seen guys post it right there, back in the middle here, farther back. Remember, this is a flow divider right here in the manifold going into it. It's, again, it's a T4 manifold, so I personally think that going a little bit further left, if you're looking at it from this angle, a little bit further left, which hits the back 3 cylinders, is a better way to go personally. So just basically make your center mark and then just go from there. Again, there's a million other guys online that have made similar videos based off of how to install an EGT gauge, but mine's going to be kind of a time lapse. I'm going to run it. I'm actually going to run the engine while I drill it, and then just makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about any extra metal shavings and what have you getting into the system there. Also, just start out with a really smaller bit, the smallest one you have in a set, which is usually, looking at my kits I have here, you could probably start out with a 1/16 and work your way up a little bit. Also with Glowshift, you can actually get their little kit. That's their part number right there, for their drill and tap kit. Doesn't hurt to ever have another drill and another drill bit, another tap available. And also, if you're interested in the same series gauges that I run, there's the Glowshift part number there. Again, I'm not saying I'm not paid by Glowshift to do this. I'm not doing any sort of sponsorship deal with them, but again, I run their stuff and I've not had a problem with it. They have great customer service. In 3 years of running the set of gauges I have in a truck right now, I think the only thing I've ever had to replace was the sending unit off of the fuel pressure, and that was because at that time I was swapping around with all sorts of different overflow valves and what have you, and it was constantly dropping and raising my fuel pressure. So get ready to put you on a time lapse. Alright guys, so pretty much that in a nutshell is how you drill it out. A pin magnet will be your friend every day of the week, but especially in this particular job. I was going to start it and run it, but it's kind of early where I'm at right now, so it wasn't really the best idea. I got a stack on the truck, so it's going to be loud, and I don't want to really wake up my neighbors. I live in an HOA, so you know. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to drill and tap the manifold, and again, I'll put it on a time lapse there. The only thing I can tell you is if you keep your drill bits oiled and you keep your taps oiled, it makes this job easy. It's not like it's, you know, it's cast iron, but it's not like you can't drill through it. Again, like I said, with the drill bits, just start out small, work your way up to the size that you have for your particular EGT probe. Again, this is 1/8 MPT, which is pretty common across the board, but yet, you know, like I said, just keep everything oiled up before you use it. Pen magnet for when you actually have to dig into the manifold, get out all the shavings you can. I'm not really too worried about it. If it takes out the charger, it sucks, but at the end of the day, I do know here in the future I will be putting another charger on this truck, so everything I'm doing right now is just kind of preliminary. So put you on another time lapse. Just when you're going to tap it straight, and then we'll go ahead and do the install of the probe. All right, so as you've seen there, tapped it out. A lot of guys have the question of how far deep down do you go with your tap. Obviously you don't want to go all the way down to the shoulders, you don't want to go too short, you don't want to go, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you go to about, you see where the height is right there on the tip, that's more than enough. Where all that metal debris is, I use a little bit of the Hot Shots spray and stay grease on the drill taps, or on the drill bits, taps, all that, and it really clings to that metal as it comes up, so it makes it a little bit easier for you. So all you're going to do really essentially next is you've got your actual probe thread. You've got one that's a fine, one that's a coarse. You can see that right there. Fine thread gets threaded in. On the Glowshift series, it's all 12 millimeters. And then once you get that threaded in, then you'll actually thread in your probe, which again, another 12 millimeter. And then, like I said, we'll go to part 2, which is pretty much just the install of the gauges. Most people, this is kind of all they really wanted to know how to do. The gauges are pretty cut and dry. I mean, it's switched power, ground. If you want to use a dimmer, they have an orange wire for a dimmer. And then obviously you have your secondary harness for the actual EGT. And again, you can use whatever pillar setup you want or any pod setup you want. I happen to like this particular setup right here. Just a nice little pillar pod, can put it right on the dash, hide it under the dash mat. And you know, for me, when I'm going down track or I'm just driving it daily, it's a little bit easier for my height just to go ahead and look at that eye level. So I'll check back with you guys here. All right guys, just wanted to show you kind of the final result of the EGT probe install. As you can see there, simple routing. A lot of the other companies, their probes are a little bit deeper, like ISPRO and a few other companies. Glowshift, they use a very small setup, so you kind of have to route it a little bit differently. Most of the time at other companies, you can kind of get above the heater core hoses and kind of route it up top there and then run it all the way down. But with this current setup from Glowshift, it's a little bit lower, so I had to route it under the cooler lines and then kind of feed it back through there. Wiring is not the best. I'm not the cleanest of wiring. There's a lot of guys on YouTube you can follow that are a lot better than me, but you know, you're here. So if you don't know, and it's first time running gauges, right there, the rubber boot that's right there, you can drill through that or you can punch through that, and you can route your gauges or run your harness right back into the cab that way. That's what I've done. It's got more than its fair share of wires going through it. It works fine. Like I said, this is going to start into step 2, which is the complete install. If you want to go ahead and break from here, by all means, you got the knowledge now to go ahead and drill and tap your manifold. So for everybody else hanging around, stay tuned. All right guys, so we'll kind of go back through a little bit of this. Like I said earlier, you're going to go ahead and fish your EGT wiring through that little rubber boot right there. Again, make sure everything's secure going through here. I did change a little bit of the routing going back over to the EGT probe. As you can see there, I just didn't want any of that harness touching the manifold. She's going to get pretty hot. All right, so like I was saying earlier, you get a red wire, black wire, and that's again switched voltage and then ground. You can pick a ground spot pretty much right there under the dash column right there. It's a factory ground. Again, good metal. Just clean it up a little bit with some emery cloth or some sandpaper and ground yourself one right there. Little eyelet right there. You can use in your fuse panel, again, excuse the wiring, I'm still kind of cleaning all this up. You can get these ATA fuses or ATA circuits just about anywhere you go as far as the parts stores go right there. Put like a 10 ampere in there, and that's gonna be your main power, which again feeds up to here. Again, awesome second gen dashes. You know, they make it a little bit easier to route harnesses. And thank God for dash mats, because they clean it up a little bit. But kind of give you an idea. As you can tell, everything's functional. Right now it's at 0. When there's a sensing of there being an open or something like that in the circuit, they just usually go high. So I got to readjust that and fasten that down a little bit with their two-sided tape. And like I said, all the gauges now are fully functioning and match. So it's a win in my book. Like I said, that height right there, right around here, is going to be perfect. Because again, when I'm doing videos for you guys, which I'm going to be doing some more testing here soon, some products I'm coming in with, I'm going to do some installs on, want to do some testing, check and see if EGTs can be lowered. Again, you got to stay tuned for that. Alright guys, so now that you've got everything installed, you want to go ahead and start the truck and make sure you don't have any exhaust leaks. And let it warm up, and let's watch that EGT temperature go up. Already so far, we're at a couple hundred degrees. So we'll go ahead and drive it next and see what we do at 50 pounds of boost and see how much our EGTs are. Are they just a number, or are we going to try to melt a piston down? Alright guys, so far driving it around, haven't got it to full highway speed yet, 65, 70 miles an hour yet, but just kind of bogging it down and getting it back up. The max I've seen so far is about 1200 degrees. So I mean, that's not too hateful, but it goes back down to about 400 degrees after a short time. So it's acting as I'd expect it to, which is it's cooling off obviously once the exhaust temperature drops and there's not a whole lot of fueling going on at that moment. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and do my favorite little pass here on a stretch of highway where hopefully we don't have any you know, friends of the blue out here that may hinder us from having a little bit of fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the video out here. Obviously, a new charger is going to be in my future very soon. And we've seen under full load, high boost, right around 1800 plus degrees. Now, for a short-lived time, that's fine. But thank God this truck doesn't tow, isn't a daily driver, anything to that effect. It just tells you my fueling is high, and well, we need a bigger exhaust housing on the backside of that charger. Hopefully lower those EGTs. But into the next video, guys, like, subscribe, share. Links for this Glowshift gauge setup will be in the description below. And before I forget, Happy New Year to you guys, and hopefully your Merry Christmas is good, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.